2016, a year packed with unforgettable headlines. Britain made the historic decision to leave the European Union, while across the Atlantic, Donald Trump won the US presidential election. Millions took to the street as Pokemon Go swept the globe, bringing childhood nostalgia to life. Sports fans witnessed Leicester City defy 5,000 to 1 odds to win the Premier League. But behind all the headlines, there was another story, a darker one, the Bangladesh Bank Heist. A group of hackers orchestrated one of the most daring cybercrimes in history, attempting to steal $1 billion and shaking the global financial industry. Welcome to the first episode of our series on the infamous 2016 Bangladesh Bank Heist. In this series, we'll dive deep into the technical details of one of the most thrilling cybercrimes ever attempted. Carried out by Lazarus Group, also known as APT-38, this hacking operation aimed to steal nearly $1 billion from the Bangladesh Bank using the SWIFT network. Over the course of this series, we'll walk through the step-by-step breakdown of how attackers gained access, moved undetected across the bank's network, and pulled off the heist of a lifetime. While not all technical details are publicly available, I'll use my experience as a penetration tester to fill in the gaps and offer insight into how these attackers might have exploited vulnerabilities to achieve their goals. Stay tuned as we uncover the inner workings of this highly sophisticated cyber operation. Day 1. Recon. One of the most chilling aspects of the 2016 Bangladesh Bank Heist is the use of spear phishing, a highly targeted form of hacking that starts with a personalized email. Unlike the spam emails you may get from the IRS asking for gift cards, spear phishing emails are meticulously crafted to appear legitimate, often designed to resemble communications from trusted sources. This makes them far more convincing and dangerous. Like any good heist, attackers don't barge in guns blazing to the bank asking for all the money. They first scope out the target, identify weaknesses and potential vulnerabilities they can exploit. This is where OSINT comes into play for cyber attacks. OSINT, or Open Source Intelligence, is the process of collecting and analyzing publicly available information to gain insight about a target or individual. This is a vital tool for hackers to identify high-value targets and gather the right information to craft convincing attacks. So before we dive into sending spear phishing emails, it is crucial to understand what to include in those emails, and more importantly, who to target. There are two types of OSINT, passive OSINT and active OSINT. Passive OSINT involves collecting publicly available information without directly interacting or touching the target's infrastructure. Active OSINT involves direct interaction with the target's infrastructure or systems to gather information. We will be bouncing between the two, however it is typically best to start with passive OSINT to avoid detection as long as possible. To begin, we need to pinpoint which employees to target. Unlike red team and social engineering engagements, the Bangladesh Bank did not supply Lazarus Group with a list of employee targets. Lazarus Group focused their spear phishing campaign on bank employees with direct access to the SWIFT network, which allowed them to avoid the need for lateral movement through a tightly secured network. The SWIFT network is a global messaging system used by infrastructure institutions to securely exchange information and instructions related to the money transfers and other financial transactions. It facilitates cross-border payments and ensures the safe transmission of transaction details between banks worldwide. The primary targets were system administrators, IT staff, and employees who regularly interacted with the SWIFT network as part of their job. A wealth of information is readily available online, with social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram serving as gold mines for personal and professional details. Online directories such as White Pages, People Finder, Ben Verified, and Spokeo can provide phone numbers, addresses, and more. Companies often share news about outstanding employees or key personnel, which can be valuable for an attacker. Local news outlets, Google dorking, and previous data breaches are additional sources that reveal sensitive employee data. Let's kick off our OSINT hunt with Google dorking. This technique uses advanced Google search operators to uncover publicly accessible yet sensitive information. By refining our searches, we can extract data without ever stepping into the target's digital property. The simplest operator is enclosing a search term in double quotes to find an exact match. Let's say we search for Bangladesh Bank in quotes. Every result will include this exact phrase. To dig deeper, we can narrow our search to a specific website. Using the site operator followed by a domain like LinkedIn helps us uncover content tied to that site. This is just two examples of many that Google Dorks is capable of. Other techniques include in title, file type, and in URL. Google dorking is a powerful technique widely used by ethical hackers and malicious actors alike to uncover sensitive information such as employee records, password dumps, expose sensitive data, and personally identifiable information, or PII. Lazarus Group could have used Google dorking to their advantage, such as constructing a search term, site, linkedin.com, Bangladesh Bank, IT manager. Setting the search, we see we already have a potential hit. As we see, we already have a potential spear phishing victim that Lazarus Group may have targeted. Google dorking is a powerful tool that, when used properly, can reveal the necessary information for an attack. Continuing on our journey of OSINT, we can explore tools designed to extract valuable information about individual targets. Tools like LinkedIn Scrapers, The Harvester, Spokeo, and Social Searcher can help us gather data on potential spear phishing targets, all without alerting the target or touching their infrastructure. We will use The Harvester, a tool used to gather email addresses, subdomains, IPs, and other useful information. Now, I find The Harvester to be unreliable at times. However, it is just a few commands to run and you may get the results you need. We will run it on the company of Google and use the search engine of Bing. As you can see, we found a total of 16 hosts. Now, we may have to rerun this several times as the Harvester can give different results each time. If this was our target, we can move on to active reconnaissance for each one of these hosts found. Building off of this information, we can use another tool called Email Extractor to look for emails listed on a website. I will run this on my own website to demonstrate how it works. And just like that, it has crawled my website to identify an email address. This is just one of the many tools out there to gather information on a target's website. After we have ran our tools and have gathered enough information about who we will spearfish, we need to learn about the infrastructure of the bank. We can use tools like Shodan.io to probe from the outside using a third party to see if we can enumerate odd ports that reveal information and look at headers of websites. Let's search google.com and see what we get from Shodan. Let's peer at the first result. First, on the top left, we can see the IP address. Additionally, on the top right, we can see what ports are open. On the left-hand side, we can see information such as country, city, organization, ISP, and ASN. On the right, we can see more details about the ports, in this case 7001 and 9000. We can view more information about these ports by looking at the exact services that are running and what we scanned. In this case, Nginx is running on both ports, indicating that this may be a Linux operating system. We can dig deeper into each of these open ports without actually having to touch the website thanks to Shodan. Moving off Shodan, we have a host of other great tools at our disposal. We can use tools such as DNS Recon to review DNS records of a domain. Running this tool on my website, we identify the start of authority and the name server point to googledomains.com. Additional information may have been gathered using a DNS zone transfer, which were common back in 2016. A DNS zone transfer gives information about other subdomains, IP addresses, and DNS records. Outside of OSINT, the Lazarus Group may have also employed social engineering tactics to gather information. This could involve spear phishing emails that, rather than containing malware, pose as inquiries from executives or third-party organizations asking for details about employees. Additionally, they may have used voice phishing or vishing to call the bank and attempt to extract employee information directly. With their government backing, the Lazarus Group could have even conducted in-person reconnaissance, observing the bank's premises to identify and profile employees based on who was coming and going, ultimately creating a list of potential targets. This, of course, is just a few techniques that can be used to gain information about the targets and their infrastructure. I did not want to do a full OSINT campaign on an innocent person, as that would not only be immoral, but illegal. However, in the few minutes we spent today, we gathered quite a bit of information. Next time, we'll be diving deeper into technical information of spear phishing, including writing malware that will beacon back to a C2. Subscribe as to not miss any future videos as we continue to explore this bank heist.